What do you understand by the CRISPR gene editing often mentioned in the news? So it is a genetic engineering technique that is the genome of the living organism may be modified. So gene can be modified, and that is a CRISPR. That is a CRISPR CRISPR gene editing. CRISPR gene editing technique. Okay, CRISPR gene editing. Now next one is, this is a CRISPR gene editing, and that is known as the technique which is genome. There is some genome, and that will be organism may be modified, and it is based on the simplified version of the bacterial CRISPR Cas9, and that is a Cas9 antiviral defense system, and it is antiviral and defense system. So by the delivering the Cas9 enzyme, and this is one is a enzyme, and that into the cell genome can be cut, and a genome is the complete set of the genetic information stored in long molecules, and CRISPR is a section of DNA, and that is section of the genetic code, and that is a set of the genetic information genome is stored, and CRISPR is a cluster regularly interspaced short palindromic repeat are the section of the DNA based on sequence, and Cas9 is an enzyme. It uses a synthetic guide RNA introduce double strand break at the specific location. It is system used by the bacterial cell to recognize the destroy viral DNA. Next is consider the following about the Kavach. So what is Kavach? It is designed to prevent the train collision, and the Kavach system was consist only radio frequency, so that is not true. So Kavach is a train protection system, and that is colliding by the automatically applying brakes, signaling automatic whistling at the crossing, and the Kavach is a train which is named as after preventing potential accidents. Kavach system consists not only the radio frequency but also the track, but also electrical device installed the locomotive, and there are some locomotives, and that is signaling system locomotive signaling system. Okay, now next one is train collision. Name the Kavach is an indigenous technology developed by the Research Design Standard Organization. And this is indigenous. And Indian Railway. So they started in 2012, and 10-year coverage function as a safeguard to the existing signal, and the system was for watchdog when the warning locomotive driver red signal, and that is radio frequency technology installed on tracks, and facilitating direct loco to loco communication, relaying information about locations, aid in train movements for monitoring warning, preventing misshape human error. The system is implementing coast train 50 lakh per kilometer, and this urgent. Okay, now next one is PTCPER, reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction. It is a polymerase chain reaction, that is RNA, and installed PCR, that is the specified but lacks sensitivity compared to other molecular diagnostic method. That is but lacks sensitivity, that is not true. So that is not a lack sensitivity compared. So that is PCR is indeed a technique used to detect the RNA viruses by converting RNA into the complementary DNA, and that RNA will convert into the DNA and then amplifying the detection and amplifying the detection. But this is not only highly specified but highly sensitive, making it one of the most reliable method for detecting the viruses, and that was a SARS-CoV-2, and that for the detection of virus, was the detection of the virus. Now it is indeed a technique for RNA virus by converting RNA into complementary DNA and amplifying, and this not only highly specific but highly sensitive, and highly specific also highly sensitive. It is one of the most reliable method to detecting the virus. So sample collection initial step is a swab collection. The test start with a swab taken inside a person. RNA to DNA conversion, since coronavirus have RNA as their genetic material, the RNA is converted into DNA by using the enzyme, and this enzyme is known as a reverse transcription. If we are converting RNA into DNA, that means it will known as reverse transcription. Reverse transcription. And PCR process and amplification, genetic fragment selection. Researchers select the specific stable area in virus genome to create a copies, and there is a virus and that will create the copies. And primer and the probe use primer small pieces of DNA and the bind selected DNA sequence. And now detecting and results. So PCR machine the patient sample along the primer and the probe is placed, and the binding process is detected by the fluorescent signal. And there are some fluorescent signal and indicating the virus. And testing duration was typically take around the 4 to 8 hours. LVM-3, that is known as a ISRO launching vehicle. It is ISRO's launching vehicle, LVM. Okay, so LVM is a ISRO's initiating to private firm build the India's heaviest rocket in the long awaited ensure greater participation. LVM third is a 3-stage medium lift launch vehicle. India Space Research ISRO. It is the heaviest, most powerful rocket that India has built with a lift of the mass, and LVM can be carried out payload up to the 4000 kg in the geosynchronous orbit. It was in the geosynchronous orbit, and that was GTO, low Earth orbit. The launch vehicle can be carry up to 8-ton payload to lower Earth orbit about from the Earth, and geostationary transfer, which lies much further ahead. It can carry much less, only about 4 tons. This, however, does not mean that LVM is weak compared to the rocket used by the launch vehicle. Can carry out to 8 tonnage payload and Earth surface, but when it comes to the geostationary transfer orbit, which lies much further ahead, it can carry it much less. This, however, does not mean that LVM is weak compared to the, but it is other country or the space company for similar job. For instance, European Space Agency Ariane rocket. So European Space Agency, and that was the Avian. That was the Ariane 5 rocket has been lift off 780, and the rocket is the 3-stage launch vehicle consisting of the solid propellant and that will liquid stage में जाता है. ठीक है. Now next one is recently R21 vaccine in the news that was against the malaria. R21 vaccines, and that was against the malaria. That was against the malaria virus. R21. So this Serum Institute of the India is the world largest manufacturing vaccinated by the mark this significant milestone. Malaria, that was a Matrix M malaria to 7-8 countries of Africa. It is developed by the Oxford University. The vaccine has been approved to use the children age of 5 to 36 months, and now the vaccine was in 80% successful in the clinical trial in the Burkina Faso when they administered in 3 initial doses. So this is the first time a major vaccine has been approved. The Ghana became the first country to approve this vaccine. Now the context of the space technology, the Rumi 1, that is India's first reusable hybrid rocket launched by mobile platform. It is first reusable hybrid rocket that is launched by the mobile platform, and it is going to launch with the mobile platform. Okay, so that is a developed by the Tamil Nadu based startup Space Zone India collaboration with Martin Group, and payload and satellite information will provide cube satellite, that is 3 cube satellites of each weighing 1 to 10 kg, and the pico satellites, that was 50 pico satellites of each weighing 0.0 to 1. Data collection satellite will also be collect the global warming and the climate change. Feature was a hybrid rocket engine uses a combination of solid liquid propellant and improve the efficiency. And now this is a electrically triggered parachute system, eco-friendly, eco-effective, recovery and environment friendly, like 100% environment friendly also. And now the concept was reusable rocket released by the return to the earth can be relaunched with the new payload, so that will reduce the cost also, and also that will reduce the time also. So cost saving is 65% cheaper than building not new rockets, and reduce the space debris. It will reduce also the space debris and increase the launch frequency. So frequency also increase and debris will also going to be decrease. Okay, now next one is consider about the India's upcoming Venus orbiter mission. It will be the India's interplanetary mission for the Mars orbiter mission, like after Mars orbiter that was launched in 2013, and the mission aimed to land on the surface of Venus. And the mission for the experiment, so that is not true, the mission will be use the aero braking tower for orbiter. So this two was not true. Now next question is related to, I think this we discussed yesterday, that's why. The humanoid skull Gaganyaan mission. So it was the skull is designed and developed by the experts in ISRO system Thiruvananthapuram. The skull weight 800 gram, measure 200. It is made from the high strength aluminum alloy to pressure and the vibration. So that was all about the Gaganyaan. So ISRO humanoid skull that was been designed to develop the experts in ISRO, and the skull weight 800 grams and a dimension 200 mm. Skull is constructed from the high strength aluminum alloy and your pressure vibration experience during this mission. Vyomitra is a combination of the two Sanskrit words Vyoma and the Mitra, female robot that is designed for the from the ISRO and test mission ahead of the Gaganyaan human space flight mission, and that is ahead of the Gaganyaan. It is referred to as a half humanoid robot as she doesn't have legs, because this Vyomitra doesn't have legs, so it is half humanoids. And being going to the uncrewed Gaganyaan mission, she will accompany the astronauts on the main mission too. So the AI enabled robot, and which can be withstand vibration and the shock during the flights, and speech and slide capability. It is equipped with the capability to operating, serving as a companion to astronauts and engaging in the conversation, recognition and responding to the inquiry. Now next consider about the CAR T cell therapy. It is a form of the immunotherapy that uses a person immune system involving genetic editing and the T cell fight of the cancer cell. CAR T cell therapy have been approved primarily for various types of the blood cancer like leukemia. So that was, it is a revolutionary therapy for the modify the CAR T cell by turning into the patient's cancer fighter, that is CAR T cell. CAR T cell is a cancer fighting cell. It will form the immunotherapy use person immune system involving genetic editing, that is in T cell. So CAR T therapy have been approved primarily from the various blood cancers. And now T cell is a special cell, that is which blood cell that find and fight illness and infection. T cell have the receptor protein on their surface. T cell are genetically modified by the new receptor called the chimeric antigen receptor, and there is a chimeric antigen receptor, and that is the means a mixture of the two chimeric and that modify the CAR T cell. Okay, so this will kill this modified cell, then flood the system, enabling the body immune system to fight off the cancer feed previously unachievable due to the cancer. So now it makes the treatment easier with one-time therapy, and that can be truly transformative. It's a lifeline for non-responsive cancer patients. So that is known as a patient white blood cell extracted from the machine equipped with the tool and identify the destroy the cell. Nexcar 19 manufactured to an optimal dose for patient and typically administered as a single intravenous infusion. T cells are naturally made by the body as an advanced defense against the virus cancer cell, and T cell mature, then they have developed a specific receptor to target and key signals, and scientists have identified the proteins that are the abnormally expressed on the surface of the type of cancer. So specially designed receptor can find the bind of this cell A safe shells virus is used for the genetically engineering T cell, and this T cell are the chimeric antigen connection receptors target a protein called the CD19, and it will target the CD19 and B cell cancer. So can we limit the inbuilt extent and efficiency with which T cell are able to fight them, and this result in an increase the cancer burden. So however, cancer can limit the inbuilt extent and efficiency which will T cell are able to seek and fight them. So this result into the increase the cancer burden if they inbuilt into the efficiency. But safe shell is there. So virus is used to genetically engineering T cell. So they express the chimeric antigen and the connection that target the protein. Okay, now next is the which of the following is a not referred as a cryogenic material, that is butane is not a cryogenic. So cryogenic is the liquid defined, that is National Institute of the Standards and the Technology, liquid with the boiling point of the 93 calorie. So definition include the liquid nitrogen, liquid argon, liquid helium, liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen. The definition does not include the liquid propane, liquid butane, liquid acetylene, and liquid natural gas, but the word originate from the Greek word of the cryos means the frost, and the genic means the to produce. So the liquid helium, liquid hydrogen, and liquid oxygen present additional hazard that liquid nitrogen, liquid argon do not. Liquid nitrogen is the most frequently used, that is liquid nitrogen most frequently used in this. And liquid cryogen has a extremely low temperature contact with the cryogenic liquids, and it can not only the frostable or cryogenic burns but also damage the material. Cryogens are the stored in the confined containers, and now cryogenic fluid have a large liquid to gas. The cryogenic liquid will quickly boil into the gas and create a asphyxiation hazard by the displacing the oxygen content. So it is liquid argon and liquid nitrogen. The gas generated from the malfunctioning equipment or the spill will be the cold and denser. Even well ventilated lab space that have a pits or other low lying areas. Now next one is a consider about the deepfake. Deepfake are the primarily creating using simple video and editing tool without the need for artificial intelligence. So that is not true. Deepfake needs artificial intelligence. Deepfake utilize the generative adversarial network to produce the realistic image of the videos, that this will produce a realistic image of the videos. Now next is the in the next is about news that first formal response to the use of deepfake in the election season. The Election Commission of India has directed political party to not share such content on social media, and if they come to know such content to take it down and warn the person for the share it. And warning is there. Deepfake are the synthetic medium that has been digitally manipulated to replace one person likeness to with this another person. They are created by using the deep learning as branch of artificial intelligence that involve the training neural network with the large amount. They are created by using deep learning, a branch of artificial intelligence. Deepfake can be used as a various purpose like entertainment, political propaganda, misinformation, cybercrime. So deepfake can be used to create the realistic videos of the celebrities and the politicians, and they can also be generate the fake voices, face, and the moments by using this. Okay, so that was all about the deepfake. Rely on the sophisticated AI technique, that is in the AI technique and video editing. They are require the deep learning of the generate the human like accurately. Now the Bhopal regimen, that is multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. It is multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. Multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. So that was a multi-drug resistant tuberculosis is a regimen. It is India's preparing to roll out this Bhopal regimen, and that was the tuberculosis and extensively drug resistant tuberculosis. So reduce the treatment duration. The Bhopal regime is to reduce the treatment time around 6 months, and the cost reduction, the ability of the generate the baraquinin and reduce the cost 426 million. And simplified medication will be there. WHO World Health Organization for 6 month Vipal regimen as a effective treatment, and economic benefits will also be there. Now next one is feature of the Nisar satellite. S-band payload has been by the ISRO. That is not true. L-band is not by the ISRO. It can be completely mapped the 4 to 15 days capable monitoring of the snow cover. Okay, so this we discussed yesterday also. Now regenerative braking. So regenerative braking converts the kinetic energy into the reused, and during this that can be stored and reused. During this regenerative braking, the traction motor operates as a generator, converting the energy into electrical energy. Regeneration alone can always be bring electrical vehicle stop without the need of the conventional braking system. So now that was about the regenerative braking. So 1 is correct, 2 is correct, but 3 is not correct. Actually, here is now regenerative braking alone can always bring an electrical. Now this is extreme word. Alone can always bring electrical vehicle to complete stop without need of the conventional braking. So without need of conventional braking, that is extreme word. So we are not just this is incorrect. And regenerative braking convert the kinetic energy into the stored and reused, and during this it will convert into the electrical energy also. Okay. Now next one is consider about the saltwater crocodile of India. So saltwater crocodile of India is in the Sundarban and Andaman Nicobar and the Bhitarkanika. The total number was crocodile decreased since 2001. That is not true. The marginal increase, there was a 1118 and 11 saltwater crocodile in the Odisha Bhitarkanika, and the population of saltwater estuaries crocodile in and around the Odisha Bhitarkanika National Park is marginally increased. That is increased. And now the population of the saltwater estuary crocodile in the Odisha Bhitarkanika National Park is marginally increased. Census conducted, that was conducted annually. There is a 18 and 11 crocodile in the park located the Kendrapara district, and the last year crocodile numbered the 17 and 93. Bhitarkanika is the second largest mangrove, and the Sundarban is West Bengal. Both are the saltwater crocodile, and the largest reptile in the world, that was the third being Andaman and Nicobar. Now next one is considered as the earth largest living crocodile of the infamous globally as a non-maneater, found in Odisha, Bhitarkanika, Sundarban, West Bengal, and Andaman Nicobar, and also the Southeast Asia, Northern Australia. Illegal hunting habitat laws and the antipathy. Now this was the Odisha, that was Bhitarkanika, and IUCN में ये threatened species the illegal hunting and habitat loss हो रहा है. IUCN threatened species में least concern साइट के अपेंडिक्स 1 में आता है, वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट के शेड्यूल 1 में है. शेड्यूल 1 अपेंडिक्स 1 and least concern, it is least concern. Okay. Now next one is the innovation for the defense excellence. IDEX flagship scheme is Ministry of the Defense, and that was objective scheme to cultivate the innovation and MSME incubator and academia, which is incorrect. So both are correct. IDEX flagship scheme है, that is Ministry of Defense में आती है, and that is for the improvement of the ecosystem of the defense. So IDEX is to participate the upcoming edition of Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit, and that was the flagship scheme of Ministry of Defense. Narendra Modi, that was 2018. It was inaugurated in 2018 for cultivate innovative ecosystem for defense and aerospace. IDEX was granted R&D with the significant potential for the future adoption of aerospace. It will 400 plus startups and now procurement 31 items. And now there was a IDEX have received the PM award for the innovation defense sector, and it is also got the PM award for the innovation. PM award was also provided. So this was the IDEX showcasing the cutting edge solution for the vibrant Gujarat, and that technology and feature the champion service sector, emphasizing India's take the emerging technology, and that was a smart smart technology trade show with the spotlights and digital India. India is the emerging technology including the smart manufacturing, IDEX also look forward to exploring new partnership and the collaboration for the leaders, policymakers, and innovators to collective envision a future and contributing to vibrant economic Gujarat. With reference to the radiation fog, which is the following statement is correct. The formation of radiation fog is driven by the cooling of land after sunset, thermal radiation in calm condition with a clear sky. So that is the radiation of fog, and that was driven from the cooling of the land, and it was thermal radiation in calm condition, and thermal radiation in the calm condition, that was in the calm condition. So it is a radiation type of the fog caused by the cooling of the earth's surface. This cooling typically happen overnight when the sky is clear, there is a little no wind, and when the air temperature drop to its dew point, and there is a sufficient moisture, the water vapor in the air condense into the tiny droplets of the water, and that common in the fall and the winter. It is found in valley and the rural area where the man-made structure retain heat. When the sunrise or influx of the warmer air increase the temperature, the fog will be dissipate. So that is caused by the cooling of the earth's surface, radiation fog, and this cooling typically happen overnight when the sky is clear. So this will happen in the overnights, okay. And now radiation fog is most commonly fall winter में होता है. It is often found in the valley of the rural areas when the sunrise influx of the warmer increase the temperature. Radiation is fog comes thermal radiations, and that is the earth's surface radiate back to the space after it absorbs the sunlight. This type of the fog is nothing to do with the nuclear ionizing radiation. Okay, so next one is a which of the following used to assess the specifies to classify under the IUCN Red List? So that was geographical range, now small population size, then extinction probability analyze, economical importance, that is not true. So that is IUCN category and used to the assess the species. So that is the geographical range, small population size, extinction probability, and that was analyzed in the red list, but economical importance is not yet given. So the International Union for Conservation of Nature is 5 major criteria for status of the vulnerability. First is population reduction, and second is in the 10 years of the 3 generations, whichever is longer, and in the reduction should be based on any following factor: direct observation index, abundance appropriate, and the area of the occupancy. Now next one is population reduction. This is based on the observed, the estimated, inferred, suspected population. Next one is a geographic range. This encompasses the extent of the occurrence and area of the occupancy. And now critically endangered higher risk category consideration is also driven by the whether the range is separately fragmented. Endangered is higher risk of the category. Small population size decline. It is a small population size and decline measured by the number of the mature individual. Very small, and the restricted total, that was very small restricted population either in the number of the individual. Very small restricted total population. Extinction probability analyze the likelihood of the extinction in the wild is at the least 20% and the 20 year of the 5 generation. So economical importance is not generally criteria for the IUCN, and that is conservation status based on the biological factor rather than the economical consideration. So one will be the population reduction, then restriction, geographical range, then small population size, very small restricted population, extinction probably analyze the extinction, numerical threshold, that was the critically endangered, and the vulnerable, that is the threatened category in the IUCN. Now next one is consider about the Dara mustard. So it was a indigenous level of 25 to 30%, that is shown the increased yield. It has been developed by the Center Genetical Manipulation Cross Plantation, Delhi University. So all of 3 are true. So Dara mustard hybrid is an indigenous developed, that was a modified variant of the herbicide tolerant mustard, and 2 alien genes, that was the Baranese and the bustard, soil bacterium and the Bacillus amyloliquefences, that enable the breeding and that genetic manipulation of the crop plants of Delhi University. Mustard is the most used for the edible oil and the GM oil used for in India decade now. What is trying to do in the make the edible oil cheaper, and that was shown the increase of the yield that was 30%, and the India annual economical loss crop with that was 11 billion USD, 11 billion USD, and it was 11 billion USD. Now next one is genetical. It is responsible for the appraisal of the large scale use of hazardous microorganism, and the committee is also responsible for appraisal of the genetically engineering organism. This is chaired by the special secretary of this additional secretary for the Ministry of Environment and Forest Climate Change, chaired by the representative of the Department of Biotechnology. With reference to India's kangaroo lizard, consider the following. It is found in the Thar Desert of Rajasthan. That is not true. Endangered. It is an endangered species, and that is found in the Thar Desert, and kangaroo is not found in the Thar Desert. Okay. So next is the Indian kangaroo lizard, scientifically known the Agastyamalai, is not found in the Thar Desert, but it is the endemic to the Western Ghat, where it's known for the Shiyagiri hill, and that was known the Sivagiri hill. So that was the Tamil Nadu and the Kerala state. It is diurnal terrestrial and insectivorous. India kangaroo lizard is an endangered species that was in IUCN, and it is endangered. It is an endangered species in the IUCN red list. So this preferred habitat for Indian kangaroo is the moist leaf litter on the forest floor and deciduous forest. Also climb onto the trucks and shrub. Reproduction, it is a oviparous species which adult female 3 to 5 egg. INSAT 3DS satellite, that is a meteorological satellites. INSAT is a meteorological satellite. Okay, this is a meteorological satellite system. So that was a INSAT is a exclusive meteorological with primary objective providing the continuity, and the INSAT 3D, that is a launch portal of the launch on board of GSLV F-14, and it was a Satish Dhawan space station of the Sri Harikota, and a satellite user funded project, Ministry of Earth Science, and that was a 2K bus platform. India as a industry have significantly contributed to making the satellites designed to enhance the meteorological observation, monitoring, disaster warning, and 6-channel imager for 19-channel sounder meteorological payloads, data relay transponder, and the satellite aided search rescue is also there. So that is INSAT 3DR middle infrared band to provide the nightmare pictures of the clouds and fog, and thermal infrared GSLV 14 will be there for the cryogenic engine. It is used in that advanced rocket utilizing liquid propellant, and that was in the all three stages they are using the cryogenic liquids, and it is the most advanced rocket utilizing, and cryogenic liquid propellant is all three stages is using. So this you can see the GSLV F-14. Consider regarding the spiral galaxy. Spiral galaxy is a flat rotating disk that is gazed as stars. Central concentration of the star. Spiral galaxy are very rare in the in the universe, so that is not true. It is not rare. Spiral galaxy. So it's a twisted collection of the stars and the gases. Consists of the flat rotating disk, and that was star and dust. It is most galaxy that scientists have discovered so far are the spiral galaxy, as a opposed to other under two main categories. These are often surrounded by the much fainter halo of the stars, many which reside the globular cluster, named after their spiral structure that extend the center, and that was together was irregular galaxy spirals. And 60% of the galaxy in today's universe, they are the mostly found in the low density and are rare in the center of the cluster. Which of the following mission evolved in the European Space Agency and ISRO? That was Proba 3 mission aiming to study the sun corona. That was the Proba 3 mission. Proba 3 mission was a launch for the September in 2024. European Space Agency and the ISRO mission aimed to study the sun corona and the layer of the sun's atmosphere. Studying the corona difficult to observe due to the bright lights and the sun. To overcome the proba 3, that was a providing the detailed information about the part of the sun. The success of the mission depend on the satellite maintaining the positions and could operate together. So the launch vehicle was a choice for this was mission reliable PSLV XL rocket. PSLV, and they are taking the launch vehicle, that is the PSLV XL. PSLV XL rocket. PSLV and XL rocket. So NASA will launch the Europa Clipper, NASA will launch the Europa Clipper mission, which was explore the Jupiter largest moon. So Europa and Clipper, that was launching the Jupiter largest moon. Largest moon. Jupiter largest moon. And Proba 3 was innovative approach, not only helped the understanding Sun but also the virtual structure of the Sun. And ESA and the ISRO showcasing the international partnership in the space exploration. NASA will launch explore the Jupiter largest moon, that was Europa, and is slightly smaller than the moon. Now the next is NASA will launching the Europa Clipper, and that was a beneath in the Europa likely to the harbor a salt water ocean. Europa Clipper scientists want to investigate the Europa ocean could suitable for the habitat. Viper is the search for water on the moon. Viper, which stands for the Volatile Investigation Polar Exploration Rover in the robot the size of the golf. NASA will use the explore the moon south pole. So Viper mission, that was about the moon's south pole. It was in the moon south pole, and that was the Viper mission. Viper mission for the polar exploration. So the Viper is for the this robotic mission is designed to search for the volatilities, which is the molecule are easily vaporized. ESA Hera mission, that was European Space Agency, and Dimorphos asteroid system. नासा का जो डार्ट मिशन है, दैट इज हेरा मिशन ऑफ द ईएसए. ईएसए का तो हेरा मिशन है, नासा का है डार्ट मिशन. डार्ट मिशन इज ऑल्सो, and they are working for the Dimorphos asteroid system, and that was DART mission. ESA का हेरा है और नासा का for the DART hit the Dimorphos, which such force that is actually changed its orbit, and that will impact the kinetic impact. So planetary defense technique called the kinetic impact. Consider about the melanistic tiger. Melanistic tiger is a are not separate subspecies but rather the color morph within the Bengal tiger. Unlike the typical organ coat with the dark stripe, melanistic tiger have a dark black or the nearly black. This dark coloration is due to the genetic condition known the melanins. So that is all are true. The rare color variant of the Bengal tiger is the Panthera tigris, and the coat with the dark stripe and the melanistic tiger have a dark black color. This dark coloration is due to the genetic conditions and where there is a excessive development of dark pigmentation, and the melanistic tigers are not a separate subspecies but rather the color morph within the Bengal tiger, and a single mutation is gene transmembrane and aminopeptides cause the black tiger to develop the stripe. The simplified tiger research is situated in the Eastern Ghat. UNESCO listed the biosphere reserve, and that was tiger reserve position within the Mahanadian coastal region, and the Chota Nagpur. That was the Mayurbhanj elephant reserve, which is include the Simplipal tiger and Hedgard, and the Kuldiha wildlife sanctuary. Kuldiha. Now Simplipal is a varied vegetation encompassing the moist and dry deciduous forest and the grassland. Now the Pathelas and Octoninols and the Nonozinols. That's consider the hazards are most likely present in the perfumes. So these environment Pitholas and the Oxtogenols, Nonozinols, that's an environmental working group, reveal a 3000 harmful ingredient, that was a fragrance hiding behind the fragrance of this 3163 chemical listed as a phthalates and oxinomes, and the use of such inferior and possibly adulterated cosmetic can lead to a spectrum adverse health reactions and mild skin irritation to the severe conditions also. So that was the recently banned toxin chemical, and the West Management Advocacy Group issued a warning against the alarming rise, and that was a phthalates and oxytocinones and nonoxenols are identified the particularly hazardous. Now consider the Wildlife Protection Act, that was Schedule 1, that was the animal species with the maximum protection. Schedule 2, that was animal species lesser level of protection. And Schedule 3, protection of the protected plant species. And Schedule 4, that was DECA 3, specimen listed the sites, that was Schedule 4 is that are listed in the sites. Okay, that are listed in the sites. So these are given about this. Now next one is Schedule 1, that is the amended Protection Act for the animal species higher level protection, and the Schedule 2 other hand lists the animal species which are offered protection but lesser degree of the compared to the Schedule 1. And Schedule 3 Act now lay focus on the plant species protection, signify importance of the preserving flora and the fauna. Schedule 4 includes the specimen listed the appendix under the Convention of International Trade Endangered, that is under the sites. Okay, that is in Schedule 4. So this will showcase. Consider the following statement regarding Indian grey wolf. So it is a subspecies of the grey wolf which is thrive extremely colder condition. That is not true, but it comes under the least concerned category of the IUCN. So that is under the least concerned category of the IUCN. So it is a sub species of grey wolves and Southern Asia, Indian subcontinent. That is we can found in the warmer condition, not in the colder condition. Intermediate in the size between the Tibetan and the Arabian wolf, and this Indian wolf inhabited area dominated the sub grasslands. The grey wolf are the IUCN red list, that was the Wildlife Protection Act sites में Schedule 1 में it is in that. So that is the Indian wolf inhabited area dominated by the shrub, grasslands and semi-arid pastoral and agro ecosystem. The grey wolf is categorized the least concern, and that Schedule 1 of the wildlife in the appendix 1 of the sites, which is a statement about the Meissner effect. So Meissner effect is a Meissner effect refers to the property of the certain material to conduct electrical current without resistance when they become superconductor. They just generating the electrical currents without resistance, and when they become a superconductor, and they will become a superconductor. Okay, so this is the Meissner effect is phenomena associated with the superconductivity which is ability to certain material to conduct the electrical current, and that was named after the German physicist, that is the Walter Meissner, and name is the Walter and Meissner. Okay, and this is expel the magnetic field from their interior when transmitted into the superconducting state. This explains the result the magnetic field strength inside the superconductor. Okay, and now that was this expulsion result the magnetic field strength inside the superconductor. This effect is the one of the defining characteristics of the superconductor and is important factor for the confirming the superconductivity. Superconductivity and the Meissner effect are typically achieved when the material is either cooled or extremely low temperature. So that was such superconductor could help to minimize the energy loss and enhance the efficiency and the performance. Superconductivity is a quantum mechanism for the certain material that is zero electrical resistance. So superconductivity conduct electrical current with zero electrical resistance. It was discovered in 1911 of the Heike Kamerlingh on Dutch physicians, and that was key characteristics is the include the perfect diamagnetism, also known as the Meissner effect, and the existence of critical temperature below which superconducting is maintained. So this is superconductor, unlike type 1 superconductor allows some magnetic field, and that was a phenomena called the flux spinning. Have a wide array of the technological application. So that is about the superconductivity. You can see this is non-superconductive material, this is superconductor, and this Meissner effect, this is a magnet and liquid nitrogen, zero resistivity and perfect diamagnetism. So these superconductors, those display the superconducting properties at the comparatively higher temperature or even room temperature, is major focus of the current research due to their immense potential and practical use. And this type 2 superconductor, unlike the type 1, allows some magnetic field, and that is surface, and the flux spinning will be there, and it maintains the stability of the material. Superconductor have a wide array of the technology such as the MRI machine, healthcare, magnetic levitation, maglev. It is a maglev, and maglev train in the transport. The superconducting magnets are particle accelerator. Hunt for high temperature superconductors is also there. This comparatively higher temperature or even the room temperature. Major focus is the current for the immense potential and the practical use. Now next one is a bioimaging bank. What is the bioimaging bank? So what is the bioimaging bank? So it is the project of the overarching global robust data training AI algorithm detect the cancer, and that known as a bioimaging and bank, and that is for the detection of the cancer. And the multi-institutional project is funded by Department of Atomic Energy and the IIT Bombay. So Department of Atomic Energy and the IIT Bombay, both of them are providing the, and New Delhi that is providing this. So now this is the Mumbai Tata Memorial Hospital, biggest cancer hospital, is turning the artificial intelligence and the bioimaging bank was the deep learning to craft a cancer specific algorithm. It is incorporated 60,000 of patient into the biobank, and the project overarching goal is to create the robust repository encompasses radiology and the pathology images of the link for. So the project overarching goal is to create a robust repository, and that was the radiology and the pathology images, and that will be the design to the training, validation and the rigorous testing of the AI. Multi-institutional project funded by the Department of Biotechnology. It is funded by that. So that is Department of Biotechnology and the IIT Bombay, New Delhi and the AIMS Delhi, that is contributing to the significantly cancer detection and human brain information for the cancer. AI analyzes radiological and the pathological images, and this technology facilitates the early detection of the tissue changes and the potential malgenesis. So early detection of the tissue changes, and this is for the early detection of the tissue. Now next one is AI machine learning protocol utilizes data to develop the predictive model for the tumors, and this will the tumor image bank segmenting and annotating the images, outlining the tumors and annotating them, and the malignant inflammatory. Now next is the recently the heavy shore vaccine, that is individual recommended for individual which was specific circumstances, individual at the risk of exposure or travel to region with a high hepatitis prevalence. So high hepatitis prevalences, and that is known as the that is known as the heavy and heavy shore is a Hyderabad-based Indian Immunological Valley subsidiary of the National Dairy Development. It launched India's first indigenous developed hepatitis A virus, that was the heavy shore, and Hyderabad. This indigenously developed vaccine is the poised to play a crucial role in preventing the hepatitis A and liver infection and the hepatitis A, that is viral infection, primarily spread through the facial and oral routes. This will from the fecal and the oral routes it can be converted, and this extensively there is a clinical trial in 8 centers. It is 2-dose vaccine where the first dose is administered at about 12 months and the second will be given at least 6 months of the first dose. The vaccine is also recommended for the individual who are at the risk of the exposure or exposure or travel to the region with the high hepatitis A prevalences. In addition, people with the occupational risk suffering from the chronic liver disease also need to this vaccination. Consider the following regarding the India landslide susceptibility map. So landslide happen in the very localized area, affect only the 15 to 25% of the country. That is not true. India is the first high resolution landslide map that is developed by the IIT Delhi. That is developed by the IIT Delhi. So this was the torrential rain during the north eastern monsoon triggered heavy flood and landslide in the multiple states. Unfortunately, India didn't have a landslide susceptibility map at the scale of the whole country, but thanks of the Mana Bindra and Saharia, an assistant professor of civil engineering, and landslide are a unique and deadly problem in India. Flood, they are less widespread and harder to track and study with the satellites. So there is a landslide. Okay, so Delhi University that is collecting the information on the factor that is standard and area susceptibility to landslide. Some of are the soil covers and the number of the trees covering the area, how far it is from many roads and mountains, and the two researchers gathered information about the 16 factor of the landslide conditioning factor. So Dr. Saharia decided to use the assemble machine learning. Ensemble machine learning will be the multiple machine learning used together to the average impact from the model. On after this, have the GSI extensive collection of the landslide data and susceptibility map. So they could be the susceptibility at the resolution of 100 meter and estimated the susceptibility of the 100 square meter of the parcel. So that is all about the mapping, and map acknowledges the well-known region that is Himalaya, Assam, Meghalaya, Western Ghats, and the previously it was such as the some of the Eastern Ghats and just northern of the Andhra Pradesh and the Odisha. Now consider the following regarding the Gangetic dolphin. So they are the primarily found in the deep oceanic region of Bay of Bengal. They are known for the excellent eyesight which help them navigate and locate prey. That is not true. It is not excellent. They are blind actually. It is considered as a keystone species playing the crucial role for ecological. That is also not a keystone species. So freshwater species that is dolphin, Gangetic, Brahmaputra and Meghna and Karnapulli river, and they are critically important keystone species maintaining the healthy population. Dolphin help to the maintain fish population in the river. They are critically important keystone species and it's given it's a considered keystone. This is not a keystone species and that is a critical important keystone species. So healthy population of the river dolphin indicate the healthy functioning. Common name is the blind dolphin, Gange dolphin, Susu, Hihu, and side swimming dolphin. So they are scientific name Planista gangestica. India national aquatic animal and physical features a long snout, rounded belly, large flippers, lenses are there. Blind dolphins and conservation IUCN that was in endangered. They are endangered in the and that is schedule 1 of the site and appendix 1. Schedule 1 of the site and appendix 1. It is in appendix 1 and they are endangered. They are endangered. This dolphin are endangered. Now next one is the following cultured meat, which is about the cultured meat. Cultured meat is a meat that is produced from the animal cell. Instead of being raised inside the body of an animal, this meat is generated in the cell structure. So that is true. So cultured meat is in the reproduced from the animal cell. Instead being raised inside of the body, that is generated into the cell culture. That is generated in the cell culture. So that is about the inside the express how to grow the seafood and why government lab is Kochi taken up this project. Cultured meat is the actual meat that is produced from the animal cell and it is also known the cultivated meat based on the meat and the lab grown meat. Without this need to raise and kill the animal, this meat can be produced. So known as the cultivated meat and the cell based meat, and without the need to raise and kill the animal, this meat can be produced. Instead of using the meat from the dead animal, cultured meat is created by the growing animal cell in the lab. Instead of being raised inside the body of the animal, Meat is generated in the cell culture. It is taste, smell, look like a same traditional animal flesh meat. Okay, so government is funding for cultured meat business. Government like Israel, Japan, New Zealand and invested in this meat. Furthermore, regulatory bodies like US are deciding how to promote the product, and industry is also sustainability and the future generation. Reduce the environment impact. It could be vastly reduce the environment impacts and global meat production. Reduce the emissions and uh, help save the animal slaughter. And food accessibility, provide the food accessibility to the population living in the underdeveloped country. High nutrients are there, and that is vitamins, proteins and minerals. The consider about the wildlife licensing, and that was a this marked the first substantial revision, and these rules provide the guideline and the method to consider the before granting the license. The rules published the 24 that is state that no such license shall be granted to state in the wild animal, and that was part 2 of the schedule 2nd Wildlife Protection Act. So now that there is only one statement is correct. So, what is about this? The wildlife protection licensing. The central government introduced this licensing, and the revised notification came into effect of the January 16, 1983. And here it is given 1972. So this one is wrong. It is came 1983 for the revised licensing for the wildlife. Okay, that is 83. Now second is the revised licensing guideline have implication for the stakeholder involved in the trade. Snack venom and animals, trophy animals, and stuffed animals. So this is correct actually. And what here is given has given these are for those dealing with the snake venom, toffee animal and the stuffed animal. And the third one is also wrong. Under this licensing, no such license shall be granted if it is related to any wild animal, schedule 1, except with the previous consultation of central government. So that is also wrong. It is given the rules are published state no such license shall be granted while the animal specified schedule 1 and part 2 of this, and except with the previous consultation of the central government. So that is wrong. It is schedule 1 actually, not schedule 2. So you can see here it is given the schedule 1, not the schedule 2. Now next one is consider about the acid rain. Acid rain is a man made up the fighting. Acid rain is a made up the highly acidic waste droplets, pollutant, particularly the disproportionate amount of the sulfur and nitrogen and the cars. And these are two types of the acid deposition, wet and dry. These are two, that is wet and the dry. So this acid rain is the name of the implies in the precipitation of the acid, and that is formed in the rain. And basic sense, acid rain made up the highly acidic water droplets, pollution and particularly disproportionate amount of the sulfur. There are the two type of the acid deposition, wet and dry. Any type of the precipitation in this remove the acid from the atmosphere, deposit them on the earth's surface, known as the wet deposition. Wet deposition, that is the any type of this surface. Dry deposition of harmful particle, and that was also known as a dust and smoke. The cause of the acid rain are sulfur and nitrogen particles, and wet components are sulfur and nitrogen particle which get the mixed with the found in the way man-made, and the emission that given out from the industry or by the natural cause like lightning strikes releasing the nitrogen oxides. Chemistry, Royal Society of the Chemistry, which considered the father of the acid rain, and the word acid rain was a invented in 1852 Scottish chemist Robert Angus Smith. Smith decided on the word while studying the rainwater chemistry, and the cause of the acid and sulfur nitrogen particle. Sulfur as a particle are get mixed with the water and can given out the industry or the natural cause like the lightning strike and nitrogen oxide volcanic eruption. According to the Royal Society of the Chemistry, father of the acid rain is a Scottish chemist, the Angus Smith, and that was in the England, industrial town in England and the Scotland. The regular chain rain will experience even not clean water and the carbon dioxide react together to form a weak carbonic acid. itself not extremely harmful. The reaction occurring like H2O plus CO2 and that will H2CO3 and a regular rainwater in the around 5.7 giving the acidic nature. Okay, so that was about the example, the burning of the fossil fuel, unethical waste and emission disposal technique. Now, in context of the advancement in the astrophysics, the Lagrange point is the orbital configuration of the two large celestial body where a small object affected only by the gravity can remain the stationary relative to two larger bodies. So, small one given to affected only by the gravity and like remains stationary. So now there was a Lagrange point are the positives in the space where the combined gravitational force of two large bodies such as the Earth and the Moon or the Earth of the Sun create and enhance the regional attraction and repulsion. Smaller objects like the spacecraft maintain their position relative to larger body. Here how it works. So the as a one celestial body orbit another, there are five positions in the space where the gravitational force of the two large body balance the centrifugal force. It will balance the centrifugal force and which might be located at those points. This equilibrium enable the fixed in the position and that's 5 points are there. L4 L5 is equivalent equatorial triangles and with the L4 and L5 particularly that was the interstate. This is why they are proposed location for the space mission or space colony. L1 is between the two larger bodies. Sun observing scientific emission as a provided constant view. L2 is the environment for the astronomical observation of the space studying fairly for the sky relative to the earth and sun and the dark. The Lagrange points have become increasingly important for our ambition in the space exploration and advantageous position for the spacecraft and the observe the universe. So that is Lagrange point become increasing important for the space exploration astronomy and provide the particularly advantage for the spacecraft from which observe the universe and the conduct the scientific mission. It will observe the universe and it will conduct the scientific mission. Scientific missions are can be conducted after this. So that is about this point. Consider the following of the snow leopard population assessment of India. India has an estimated 718 snow leopards. The maximum number of the cases were estimated to the Ladakh, followed by the Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh. The snow leopard is classified as a vulnerable international union conservation. So all of three are two. It is the 7 and 18. Now it is a vulnerable. What is this? Is a snow leopard. Snow leopard is a vulnerable and the maximum number of the cat were estimated Ladakh, followed by the Uttarakhand, Himachal, Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim and the Jammu and Kashmir. So now there was a first ever survey put India snow leopard. India estimated 7 leopard for the first of kind and known be an elusive cat and located the mountainous strain. The number for the first time marked the maximum number of the kids were in 477. The current estimate put the number 10 to 15% of the global population. And now next one is snow leopard population assessment was begun involve the Worldwide Fund for Nature India for the Nature of Conservation, Mysore. It is found the mountainous region of the Central and the Asia, Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and the Sikkim. The Hemis National Park was good for the presence of the snow leopard and the name is Hemis National Park and they play the key role for the predators and health of the high altitude habitat. So IUCN that is in vulnerable, it is vulnerable and site के appendix 1 में है. This is the appendix 1 of the sites. Okay, and the IUCN that is also in the now next one is this is the snow leopard, cute face, innocence, which is regarding about the wetland city accreditation. The recognizing city that have taken the exceptional step to safeguard their wetlands. A nomination from India for a wetland city accreditation include the Indore, Bhopal, Udaipur, Ramsar Convention wetland. So that was recognizing the exceptional step and that was the Indore, Bhopal, Udaipur and Ramsar Convention of the wetland. Okay. So that is about the Ministry of Environment and Forest Climate Change recognizing importance of wetlands and the peri-urban environment and the measures the conserve and the protect their wetlands. Ramsar Convention and that was a COP 12 was year approved the voluntary wetland city. And now there's a wetland city accreditation scheme aimed to the further promote the and conservation of the urban and the peri-urban wetland susceptibility. Scheme provide an opportunity for the city that value the natural human-made wetland to gain the international recognition, effort demonstrating the strong positive relationship. Ministry of Environment and the Forest Climate Change, that was Indore as a city of accreditation, and Bhopal as the Madhya Pradesh, Udaipur under the Ramsar Convention. So first is Indore, Bhopal, and Udaipur. These are the first three Indian city for the which nomination have been submitted, and the wetlands situated in around their city provide the plethora of the citizen for the flood regulation, livelihood opportunities, and the Sirpur wetland, that was in the Indore, and Yashwant, that was in the Indore, and Boj is also in MP. So next is, which is the following is best is Arctic blast, and Arctic blast is a sudden fall in the temperature, that is a fall in the temperature and expansion of the polar vortex winter, and this is the expansion of the polar vortex. Okay, so that was a Arctic blast, sudden fall in the temperature, and million of American awoke to the freezing of the frigid temperature. Arctic blast is grip to the United States, ending in nearly 2 years of the snow drought and the New York City. So that was a vortex referred to the counterclockwise flow of the air, helps to keep the colder air near the poles. It always exists, but the weaken in the summer and the strengthen in winter. However, many times during the winter in the northern hemisphere, the polar vortex will expand and sending cold air southwards, and this occurs fairly regularly during the winter time. It is also the feature that exists at the Earth's surface, and it exists the 10 of the 1000 atmosphere. Vortex refer to the counterclockwise of the flow of the air. And what it is actually, the vortex is a counterclockwise of the air, have to keep colder air near the poles, always exist to the pole but weaken in the summer and strengthen in the winter. And many times during the winter in the northern hemisphere, the polar vortex will expand and sending cold air southward. This occurs fairly regularly during the winter time and is often associated with a large outbreak of Arctic air, United States, and portion of the Europe and Asia. It is also not a feature that exists at the Earth's surface, rather it exists 10 of 1000 feet of the atmosphere. It is a magnitude how the cold temperature will get and the polar vortex expand, sending the Arctic air and not typically that cold. So this you see, this is the strongest jet stream stable polar vortex, and here's a wavy polar vortex. These waves are generating weak jet stream. Cold air moves to the south. This cold airs are moving to the south, and warmer airs moves to the north. Okay, so this surrounding Earth north and south pole refer to the counterclockwise flow of that help to the colder close to pole, and often during this winter northern hemisphere polar vortex will become a less stable, sending the clockwise southward over the and now this totally यहाँ से यहाँ की ओर like from north to south there is going the airs, and from south to north airs are also going. So this area, the polar region, will become very cold during the winter, and that will be moving in the counterclockwise direction also. So there is a stable, now there is a wavy polar vortex, and it will depend on the air pressure and the wind. Consider the following regarding the end-to-end encryption. End-to-end encryption is the data encrypted at a multiple point during the transmission, providing the additional layer of security. This encryption primarily benefited for the government surveillance and the enabling the seamless access to the communication. So this is security measure for communication protocol, and encryption refer to the process by which data is encrypted from moment it leaves and sender drive the until reaches to the recipient. So that is they ensure that data is encrypted only at the sender device and decrypted only at the receptor device, and this encryption is commonly used in the messaging, email, and other communication platform. So that was the encryption designed to enhance the user privacy security and less favorable for the government surveillance. So that was about the exchange of the sensitive information without fear and interception or surveillance by the adversaries. So that is hello. And John public key encryption is also there now. Hello John private key. Okay, Mary writes send the message to the John and John received the read the message from the Mary, and that is वहाँ पर एक key है designed to enhance user privacy and less favorable for government surveillance. So that is for the privacy. And here what is the question? That is the primarily benefit government surveillance and activity enabling the seamless access to the user communication. It is asking which of the statement not correct. सो नॉट करेक्ट है यहाँ पर, है ना. अगर वो करेक्ट पूछता तो बोथ दोनों ही करेक्ट नहीं है, ये ऐसा बोल रहा है. बोथ आर नॉट करेक्ट. इट इज़ इंश्योर द डाटा एनक्रिप्टेड एट मल्टीपल पॉइंट ड्यूरिंग द ट्रांसमिशन एंड एडिशनल लेयर ऑफ द सिक्योरिटी. तो ये मल्टीपल टाइम में डाटा कन्वर्ट हो रहा है. एंड इट इज़ प्राइमली बेनिफिशियल फॉर गवर्नमेंट सर्विलेंस एक्टिविटी. तो ये गवर्नमेंट सर्विलेंस के लिए नहीं है, वहाँ हमने देखा था. इनेबलिंग द सीमलेस एक्सेस टू यूजर कम्युनिकेशन, दैट इज़ ट्रू ओनली. एंड ये जो है डाटा एनक्रिप्टेड एट मल्टीपल पॉइंट्स. अब यहाँ क्या है, एंड टू एंड इंस्क्रिप्शन द सिक्योरिटी मेजर यूज इन कम्युनिकेशन प्रोटोकॉल टू प्रोटेक्ट डाटा प्राइवेसी. एंड टू एंड रेफर टू द प्रोसेस बाय विच डाटा एनक्रिप्टेड फ्रॉम द मोमेंट इज लीव द सेंडर डिवाइस until reach to the intended recipient device. And ensuring the confidentiality, this is data is intercepted by the authorized party. Okay, and during this transit cannot be deciphered access without the encryption key, only by the sender and receiver. And this ensure the data is only at the sender device and only receiver device. And that was the commonly used for the messaging, email. ठीक है. So this data not rely on the central server for the description and designed to enhance the user privacy and favorable for the government surveillance also. So that is rely on the it is the particularly crucial for the reporting the human rights violation and where the individual need to the securely exchange the sensitive information. So यहाँ पर जो है दोनों ही रॉन्ग है, विच इज़ नॉट करेक्ट. तो दोनों ही करेक्ट नहीं है. इट इज़ एनक्रिप्टेड मल्टीपल पॉइंट नहीं होगा, सिंगल पॉइंट पे होता है ये. फिर वो ट्रांसमिट होके फिर सिंगल पॉइंट पे जाता है. और यहाँ जो है गवर्नमेंट का सर्विलेंस भी होता है. ठीक है. नाउ नेक्स्ट वन इज वी गिवन द फॉलोइंग इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स टेक्नोलॉजी. इट कैन पोटेंशियली परफॉर्म विच फॉलोइंग टास्क. रिमोट कंट्रोल एप्लीकेशंस at home and improve the traffic management, enable the real-time tracking of the warehouses, produce the clean power, provide the complex medicinal diagnostics. So all of five are true. So Internet of Things are the network device for the data into the platform, enable the communication. It was the application can be used for various purpose. Remotely control application at the home and mobile device was enable the home automation and controlling lighting and thermostats and security system application for the efficiency energy. Smartphones can be used for the voice assistant, smart plugs and smart locks, smart camera and the smart speakers create a personalized and the comfortable living environment in the urban environment or the other outdoor. These are the smart city and IoT sensor to monitor the availability of the parking and public transportation. It will also help to the optimizing fleet management and the tracking vehicle location, speed and fuel consumption. Enable the real-time inventory tracking, warehousing, and that will improve the supply chain management. And IoT was RFID tags is GPS trackers and the barcode scanner to monitor the levels, location, movement and the quality of the producers. And IoT can transform healthcare by enabling the remote monitoring. IoT can sensor the camera, artificial intelligence to provide the complex medical diagnosis and can also help the potential manage their chronic conditions. Cannot be produce clean power through efficient energy distribution. So that is 1, 2, 3 and 5 only, and produce a clean power that is not in that. Okay, so this IoT is remotely control the application at the home device, improve the traffic management, real time in for tracking warehouses, produce a clean power that is not true, provide the complex medicinal diagnosis virtually, that is true. So that is it's also optimize the fleet management, tracking the vehicles and enable the real time tracking warehouses. and real-time inventory tracking warehouses provide the complex medicinal diagnosis that is virtually, and IoT use the sensors, camera, artificial to provide the complex medical diagnosis, and cannot provide the clean power, so the efficient energy distribution. So Internet of Things, it for home, smart temperature and energy use, industrial machine to machine communication, quality control, automotive like optimal traffic flow, smart parking, एंड एग्रीकल्चर में जो है ऑफ स्प्रिंग केयर, क्रॉप मैनेजमेंट, सॉइल एनालिसिस, मिलिट्री में है सिचुएशनल अवेयरनेस, थ्रेट एनालिसिस, मेडिकल में ऑप्टिमल पेशेंट्स केयर, वियरेबल फाइनेंस डिवाइस एंड क्वालिटी डाटा, फॉरेस्ट फायर, वेदर प्रेडिक्शन, एंड रिटेल में है थेफ्ट प्रोटेक्शन एंड द फोकस ऑन द मार्केटिंग. Now next one is the consider about the STEM cell, India Science Technology and Engineering Facilitate Map. So STEM is an initiative of Ministry of Science and Technology, that is not true. Introduce a project called the Samavesha to improve the research collaboration for the lab for more accessible. That is for the Ministry of Science and Technology. India Science Technology and Engineering Map, that is the iSTEM, is launched the Samavesha project and that Bangalore to connect the researchers, lab and equipment. iSTEM India's Science, Technology and the Engineering Facility is launching the Samavesha project. Enhance the research collaboration, enhancing the accessibility. This is not from the Ministry of Science and Technology. Initiatives are Office of Principal Scientific Advisor of the Government of India is planning to conduct the around 50 Samavesha across. The project target the connecting researchers, scientific institute and researcher of the industry looking to the avail the advanced scientific equipments and STEM projects. So that is to create the future where the million new age researchers is ideas seamlessly connected, and STEM is create the future where 1 million new age researchers is brimming with the ideas and seamlessly connected. It is the same aim not only to connect the individual to equipment but also the ignite the collaborative ecosystem, and that is the save the researcher industry and starts up prohibitive capital expenditure of the purchasing advanced equipments at the national level, and no duplication will be there. Okay, so the objective to provide the new age researchers, startup and industry across India, and that assess the advanced and expensive research infrastructure. Now, which is the following incorrect regarding the deep sea coral reef? Diversity of the deep sea coral reef is higher than the shallow water coral reef. Diversity of the deep sea is the river is the higher than shallow water. Diversity of the deep sea is higher than shallow water. That is actually incorrect. So they are defined as a coral that live in the depth of the 50 meter, but the most of the this depth are the 100, and that is cold, dark and rocky habitat. Unlike the shallow water coral reef, which are the limited in the warm typical water, deep sea corals are found throughout the world or seen from the tropical polar region. So the shallow water which are the limited to the warm tropical water. Okay, so the deep sea reefs created by the stony coral that form the large geographical structure. Shallow water coral reefs are higher diversity, that is 100 species, where there is only 6 species of the deep sea stony, that is 100 species, but in the deep sea there is a 6 species. The most common of the Lophelia, and which is from the massive reef of the Atlantic Ocean, including the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Bight. Recently, scientists have mapped the largest coral reef deep in the ocean. Largest coral reef that was deep in the ocean. Okay, and that is U.S. Atlantic coast. So now next one is what needed to the coral there. Mm, Corals are deep sea corals are lake of algae. They have bright white in coloration rather than brown and green color. That is in shallow reef. Other types of the corals such as the gorgonians and black corals, soft corals, diversity and the color to deep sea corals ecosystem. Deep coral reefs are provide the habitat for the shark and stars, octopus and the shrimp and the many other kind of the fishes. Now consider the following about the coastal regulation zone. So this Ministry of Environment and Forest Climate Change was recognizing this zones, and it was a rule where the first introduced 93. These rules are govern human industrial activity close to the rivers. So Ministry of Environment are recognizing this, formulating that is right. It is rule govern human and the industry activity does to coastline to protect the fragile ecosystem. So these are the human industry close to the river, that is not true. They close to the coastline, and that is not close to the river, close to the coastline to protect the fragile ecosystem near to the sea. And they restrict the certain kind of activities like construction, setting up new industry, storage, disposal, hazardous material. And that is section 3 of Water Prevention and the Control Pollution Act India. And coastal regulation zones are comes in 1991, and that was in 1991, not 1993. National Green Tribunal, Ministry of Environment are the ensure that coastal state of Union Territory prepare the coastal zone management and the Iceland coastal regulation plan for 2019. Okay, so this now next will be the highly pathogenic avian influenza. We'll discuss further.